The PlayStation 5 has been out since November of 2020, and it's been a fairly big success thus far, especially if you can get one. Along with a radical new design, Sony also packed tons of new features into the console that may not always be obvious. So let's take a look at the many things you should do with the PlayStation 5, and the few but still significant things that you shouldn't. Before we go ahead, a quick request. We upload new videos every single day, and your subscription matters a lot. So please consider subscribing and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon. With that out of the way, let's begin. Disable save trophy videos. Collecting trophies on the PS5 will result in clips being captured automatically. While this can be cool for revisiting memorable moments, those clips can add up over time, and even contain mic audio, which can be embarrassing if you're screaming maniacally after finally beating a tough boss in Demon's Souls. Simply head into the settings and disable the Save Trophy Videos option to prevent any clips from automatically being generated.
Layout is down!
Do enable automatic updates. One of the PS5's biggest advantages is the reduced time needed to install updates and patches for games compared to the PlayStation 4. However, if you want updates to be installed as soon as you turn the console on, it might help to enable automatic updates. This will allow for pre-downloading updates when the console is in sleep mode, allowing you to get to playing even faster. Don't play on a 1440p display. 4K gaming is a big selling point for this console generation, and PlayStation 5 titles do indeed look amazing if you have a compatible display or TV. You can even run titles in 1080p without much issue, especially given the number of games that offer 60 FPS or 120 FPS options. Unfortunately, if you have a 1440p monitor, then you're out of luck. The PlayStation 5 can only output to 1080p or 4K, and while it can still very much run games on a 1440 display, they'll be an upscaled 1080p, which is far from the most ideal experience.
What do you want?
Use an external HDD with super speed USB. When you're dealing with backwards compatible PS4 titles with PS5 support and PS5 exclusives, the SSD can get filled up very quickly. Fortunately, an external HDD can be connected to transfer games over, but you can't utilize just any one. The drive in question needs to have super speed USB 5GB per second or later with a minimum capacity of 250GB or maximum of 8TB. And again, not every single one will be supported. It's also worth noting that external HDDs can't be plugged into the front ports. They can only be connected to the back. You also can't access 2 or more external HDDs or USB storage drives at once. Even if they're connected, only one will be usable at a time.
Back the hell?
Remove faceplates to clean dust. Even if you're not looking to order custom faceplates for the console, there is a good reason to remove them. Beneath the front plate, the same one with the PlayStation logo in the upper left corner, there's a dust catcher that should be cleared out periodically. To remove the faceplates, make sure to set the console down flat, hold the bottom with one hand, and use your other hand to lift up and pull down on the panel from the top. Don't try to install an NVMe SSD. Contrary to belief, removing the console's white panels is actually pretty easy. Of course, after removing the back panel, you'll likely notice the NVMe SSD bay, which allows for installing another SSD to expand on storage. Don't bother doing this though. Even if you manage to screw the drive in, NVMe SSDs are currently not supported on the PlayStation 5. When Sony will add official support remains to be seen, especially since we're several months into the console's life cycle, so sit tight. Always use the stand. The PS5's design is unique, but also unorthodox in several ways. If you position the console vertically, you may not be motivated to use the stand. It's certainly possible to have it upright in this position, but the stand helps provide stability to the console. When positioning the console horizontally, under no circumstances should you ever do so without the stand. It won't be stable and could affect the lifespan of your game discs when playing. Use safe mode for rebuilding databases. Much like the PlayStation 4, the PS5 provides the option to rebuild databases in case there's an issue. To do this, hold down the power button when the console is off until you hear 2 beeps. Once the console turns on, it will enter safe mode. Select Rebuild Databases to carry out the process, which shouldn't take more than just a few minutes. Just make sure that you don't have an external HDD connected during this process, since the drive's data could become corrupted. Do adjust controller idle time. Taking a break or suddenly being away from your system for some time can eat into the DualSense's battery life. A good way to alleviate this is to adjust the amount of time that the controller will stay on. Simply head into the settings and configure it so that the DualSense will shut off if not used for a period of time. It may not seem like much, but it can save battery life in the long run. It's also set to not turn off by default, so either way, you'll want to fiddle with the settings. Don't use the controller's built-in mic for chatting. Don't get us wrong, the DualSense's mic can be pretty good for chatting with friends. The problem is that doing so will automatically reduce the vibration intensity to weak. Yes, even if it's set to strong beforehand. If you want the full haptic feedback experience, it's best to use an external headset for comms instead. Do use the accessibility features. Aside from the accessibility options available in games, the PS5 has its own features that can be very useful. You can adjust the intensity of vibration for the DualSense and its triggers, have custom button assignments, and zoom in on the screen, along with adjusting it to automatically move along with your movement while zoomed in. Text size can also be adjusted with options for bold text, high contrast, inverting colors, reduced motion, and auto scroll speed. Do enable spoiler warnings. Another neat feature, which was detailed before launch but is still worth pointing out, is spoiler warnings. When enabled, content like screenshots and video clips that contain potential spoilers for games will either be hidden or have the spoiler label attached. You can either hide spoilers that the developers have identified or choose to hide everything. This only works for PS5 games, but it's perfect for going in blind. Don't inserting discs incorrectly when PS5 is standing upright. One of the most basic mistakes to make with the console is inserting discs incorrectly while it's in the vertical position. It's obvious enough that you shouldn't do this, but what is the right way to go about the whole deal? Well, look for the front plate of the PS5, which has the PlayStation logo in the top left corner. When inserting a disc, ensure that the disc label is always facing towards you and parallel to the console's logo. This will remove any confusion while inserting a disc when your console is standing upright. So, what are your thoughts on this? Go ahead and share them in the comments below. And if you liked this video, please subscribe to the channel and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon to get new video updates. We upload every day and would really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.